Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic.
I'm Barry P. Cook. I'm here to talk about the latest Doctor Who special called The Legend of the Sea Devils. So let's get right into it. As it begins, a lady pirate approaches a statue in a seaside village in 19th century China and strikes it repeatedly to the horror of a local man who fears what she will unleash by doing this. The TARDIS arrives nearby, having been pulled off course, both in space and time, and the Doctor soon discovers a weird energy field just before it hears the villagers screaming. And she runs towards them to find a crazed sea devil wrecking the place. And when she thinks she's trapped it in a fishing net with the help of Yaz and Dan, it escapes. It seems that the lady who unleashed the thing is actually Madame Chang, the Pirate Queen, who was, of course, a real person. And that she did this because she thought she would be able to get some information by doing it, which would help her find the treasure of the Fleur de Mer, which was lost at sea previously on a ship captained by a man named Ji Hun. Meanwhile, somewhere out at sea, a lone fisherman in a tiny boat is eaten by a giant sea serpent that comes out of the water out of nowhere. The Doctor then takes the TARDIS on a quest of her own to find the treasure in 1533 before Madame Chang finds it, in an attempt to use it as a bargaining chip to get Madame Chang on her side, I guess against the Sea Devils, and she takes Yaz with her. Meanwhile, Dan and the son of the man who was killed by Madame Chang when he confronted her have found their way onto Madame Chang's ship, and she quickly finds them and hangs them upside down. It would seem that her ship doesn't have a crew, and she strikes a deal with Dan and the guy that she'll let them live if they help her man the ship. Then we see that the Doctor has in fact found the ship she was looking for and quickly determines that the captain is allied with the Sea Devils, although they quickly come to blows over the Sea Devils' refusal to honor a deal he made with the captain, which brings about the sinking of the ship, at which point the Doctor and Yaz return to the 19th century to go to the wreck of said ship at the bottom of the ocean, which is where it should be in the 19th century. And at this point, the TARDIS, which the Doctor surrounded with an oxygen bubble and a force field, comes to rest at the bottom of the ocean where the wreck should be. And it was pretty freaking cool, actually. But after the ladies seem to have like a little moment, the Doctor recognizes that, hey, the wreck is actually not here. And in fact, she says, "No ship, Sherlock," which was kind of funny. Moments later, the ocean floor seems to crumble away, somehow without disturbing the water, and the serpent comes up and chomps on the TARDIS. Back on Madame Chang's ship, she learns that none of her instruments are working and tries to navigate by the stars, only to find out that the stars are moving, possibly because of the Sea Devil activity. It turns out that her crew, which included her young sons, was taken by someone called Gaupodi, I think I'm saying that right, and the Black Flag Fleet, from whom she is trying to rescue them by acquiring the treasure and offering it as bounty. Just after she explains all of this to her new crew of two, the serpent attacks and they fire cannons at it, which it retaliates against by launching some type of explosive projectiles. The Doctor and Yaz find themselves inside said serpent with the Sea Devils, whom it would seem are usually honorable, but who have acquired the very ship that the Doctor and Madame Chang were looking for, which of course is the aforementioned flying pirate ship that we saw earlier, which they have, in the Doctor's words, pimped out. It would seem that the Sea Devil crew has been holding the captain of that ship prisoner in suspended animation for 300 years, while their captain, the lead Sea Devil guy, was encased in the statue. It seems that the Chinese captain was not, in fact, in league with the Sea Devil, but was tricking him in order to save his crew. And the Sea Devil is looking for something called the Keystone, which is very powerful, which the Chinese captain had at one point possessed, but gave to one of his crew members and sent him off the ship 300 years previously to hide it away from the Sea Devils. When the Sea Devil leader realizes that the Doctor doesn't have it, even though she had pretended to, he goes to kill her because she's useless to him now, but she dashes for the controls and raises the ship to the surface, and she and Yaz swing from it onto Madame Chang's ship on ropes along with the Chinese captain. It turns out that the son of the man who was killed in the beginning has been wearing the thing around his neck without realizing what it was, because he's the descendant of the crew member that the Chinese captain gave it to, as was his father, I guess. The Sea Devil makes off with the keystone, which it would seem he shows up and takes it, makes off with it. And an interesting side note comes out at this point, and that is that it was the keystone which was used to turn him into a statue originally when he had chased the crew member for it, 300 years before. So anyway, the Doctor and the friends have to get back on the flying ship, because if they don't, they're going to be in a world of hurt when the Sea Devil guy uses the keystone to enact his plan, which is to flip the world's magnetic poles, to melt the ice, shift the currents, and flood the planet to reclaim it for his aquatic people. At that point, the Doctor and friends engage in a group electric sword fight with the Sea Devils, which was actually very cool. Between them, the Doctor and friends eventually get the Sea Devil leader down, and the Chinese ship captain kills him just outright, much to the Doctor's dismay. As the world starts to be altered by the Sea Devil's use of the keystone, which occurred before the fight, the Doctor scrambles to try to stop it. During this, she confesses her feelings for Yaz, but tells her that she can't allow herself to indulge in relationships because time always runs out. When the Doctor assigns herself to hold two circuits together at the end of this process that she's engaged in to try to stop what's happening, which I guess is the key to reversing what the Sea Devil did, which would leave her unable to get away, the Chinese ship captain volunteers to do it in her place, saying that the world of the 19th century isn't his world, and he's happy to stay behind if it preserves that world for the people who belong in it. So he, in fact, does this, and it stops what was happening and saves the world. It even turns out that Madame Cheng was able to retrieve the treasure from his ship, from that captain's ship, at his behest, before everything went kablooey, which included his ship, and will therefore be able to get her crew back. And she offers the son of the man that was killed by the Sea Devil in the beginning a position on said crew, because he now really doesn't have a home or any family, and he accepts the position quite enthusiastically. The Doctor and friends then take their leave and go to a beach, which I guess is what they were trying to do in the beginning. And after Dan has an emotional reconnection type phone call with a significant person in his life, whose name is Di, I guess. And if she's been in the previous episodes with him, I don't remember it. But anyway, right after this, the Doctor and Yaz have a heart-to-heart, and they talk about how the Doctor wants to form a connection with her, but feels like she can't because every time she forms connections with people, it eventually hurts. And she says she'd like to preserve what they have now in the present, if that's okay. Yaz says it is, but you get the feeling that Yaz would prefer to do more than that. But anyway, she encourages the Doctor to skim a stone off the water nearby and make a wish. And the Doctor does this while speaking her wish out loud, which she says is what you do in her culture, I guess on Gallifrey. And her wish was that the moment she was sharing with Yaz could go on forever. And that's where the special ended. And that's, of course, the last we're going to see of the Doctor until the next special, which will be Jodie Whittaker's last. And that's going to be later this year. They showed a little preview of it, and it looks, good. I have to say that I really enjoyed this special. And I say that as a person that hasn't really enjoyed much of what was done with the show since Jodie took over. And for that matter, in the immediate prior years either, because really, for me, it's never been the same since David Tennant left. But I very much enjoyed Clara, so I liked that whole era with her. I enjoyed Amy Pond, so I still enjoyed that era. But there wasn't much for me to enjoy during this era. I liked the older guy who left. He was like one of the redeeming factors. And I was disappointed when he left. And in fact, haven't really cared for what came after until this. The only thing I liked up to now that came not only after he left, but with Jodie as the Doctor, other than I guess the one where they introduced the fugitive Doctor, which I thought was cool. was the Angel episode, the recent Angel episode. And I guess the timey-wimey one with the Daleks, but I only sort of like those in passing. This I enjoyed very much. First of all, it was gorgeous. The cinematography is fantastic in every frame of this special. I thought that the heartfelt moments were very well done, very moving. They didn't seem plastic or forced. They seemed very genuine. I really like the Dan character. He's very funny and he's very earnest and just really good all around. I've always liked Yaz, but she was sort of paint by numbers to me and not very remarkable. But in this, she really shined, I thought. So I just really enjoyed it. I'd never seen the Sea Devils before, although they've been part of Doctor Who for a while. And I thought they were cool, something outside of the box, you know, different. And the idea that they were on the Earth before humans is intriguing. We've seen species like that before in Doctor Who, but it always intrigues me when we run into that. I thought that the Pirate Queen was done very well. I thought she was going to be the villain of the piece. She wasn't. And I thought that was very cool. I don't know much about her actual history, and I don't know how close to reality that was, that she was sort of cool. I think she was kind of ruthless in real life, but I enjoyed the way they portrayed her, and I enjoyed the actor's performance. I thought it was more of a classic Doctor Who story that was self-contained. It wasn't overly cerebral. It was a swashbuckly type of thing. It was action-packed. It was just really good. I really enjoyed it. And like I said, it was gorgeous. Gorgeous. I could not take my eyes off the screen except to write notes. So I would recommend everyone watching this. It was just really, really well done all around. And, you know, I can't say that, as I said, about anything else in the, you know, more recent eras of Doctor Who, to my recollection. I've watched everything because I'm a fan of the character and the universe and all of that, but I wasn't thrilled with any of it. The flux thing confused the hell out of me. I probably wasn't giving it all of my attention because it didn't grab me, and so I didn't really understand it, and I don't have any feeling of watching it again because I don't know. I didn't think much of it. But this I really, really liked. I think everybody should watch this. It was really good. And I'm hoping that the next special, the last special with Jodie, is good so that she can go out on a high note, because I think she unfairly gets a lot of the blame for the fact that Doctor Who hasn't been good since she took over, which I don't think is her fault. So there you go. That's my review of the Doctor Who special, The Legend of the Sea Devils. I will be back with a review of the next special, Jodie Whittaker's final appearance as the Doctor, when it is released. Until then, I take my leave, and I wish you all peace and long life.
Nothing is forever. No regeneration, no life. Beware of the forces that mass against you and their master.
This is the day you die.
Ace, I haven't heard from the Doctor for nearly 4 decades.
Just because it's only 3 decades for me.
Welcome to the end of your existence.